Cloud up. Found it. Up. I'm standing. Again. Doctor, please, you can't do that. Brother. Do that. Well, let's take the hack out.
Thrown in, pulled out. A piece.
Indeed, apparently, as it seems from what we can gather, on this one, in this particular instance, as it appears, one of the main features of preparation, the very first thing we encountered, is the language barrier. How did we deal with the language barrier? It turns out the commanders of our allies' units went through exercises with us with a translator. We showed them, and then under our guidance, they also led their units. That was the main feature. Soon they started, the allies themselves began to learn our language over time. Then we also had a small phrase book from the very beginning with about 20-25 words that I knew, and it was enough for me in principle to conduct classes without a translator. Additionally, a feature that differed from our training was the very good physical fitness level of the guys. If there are some basic skills and no deep, narrow specialization, we can mold them into anything we want. That is, their physical fitness allows us to train them as we see fit, and we can count on them to manage. Even cases of heat strokes or other incidents, when someone felt unwell with their heart, practically do not occur.
The first thing to note is the units were structurally prepared. As for combat training and physical training, everything was good. But in the realities of the special military operation, the experience we gained, we had to pass on to them. That is, primarily countering drones, FPV, and similar threats. They absorb information very well, so we almost immediately found common ground. Yes, the language barrier means a lot, but we managed to overcome it, and we did everything we could. Maybe something more. Did you like? Are there any traits, so to speak? Yes, there is. It's a certain team effort, cohesion, military political work. People stand shoulder to shoulder, and it's very nice to see.
Regarding, let's say, the realities of modern combat, which are now dictated by the special military operation, I understand that they were completely unprepared. Specifically for counteracting UAVs.
Well, first of all, I am ready to tell you that no one is prepared. The war is so fleeting, and everything happens so quickly. everything changes very fast. Sometimes there are moments when we ourselves are not ready. Therefore, everything is about preparation. As soon as we receive the task, as soon as we understand how to deal with it, we immediately implement it and we are ready. Despite the fact that they arrived not as prepared as we are, we still pass on all our knowledge and data in full. The only thing we had to do was a little upgrade ourselves. That is, to understand our language barrier and work at the same pace in order to understand each other.
What did you like about these guys?
I like their dedication. They execute all given commands flawlessly, all tasks. Initially, these guys are very well motivated by their military political leadership and are committed to a comprehensive assistance agreement. They came here and have never deviated from their intentions. We really enjoy working with them, and we always do, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder. From what we should adopt, we received interesting weapon samples. For example, their 60mm mortar, which is very easy to carry, deploys extremely quickly, and shows excellent results.
Do not consider the statements of the representatives of the Ukrainian regime, either at night or in the morning. We know very well the value of these statements. Remember, just a month and a half, 2 months ago, from Kyiv, there were stern warnings that they would not accept any ceasefire. European radicals were egging on the Kyiv regime to continue this line. They stated that a ceasefire and the start of negotiations could only happen when Ukraine has an advantage on the battlefield. So we will supply it with more weapons, and then, when Russia weakens, then we will talk from a position of strength. Now, they suddenly, well, not suddenly, of course, but against the backdrop of what is happening on the ground, on the line of combat contact, where the Ukrainian regime is retreating, that's all. More actively back and back, they changed their position by 180 degrees and began to demand an immediate ceasefire without preconditions. We know the value of these calls for a ceasefire. And again, EU leaders and Kaja Kallas and other representatives are now saying that Russia must unconditionally agree to a ceasefire, only because they are suffering defeat on the battlefield, and their plans to inflict a strategic defeat on us, the Russian Federation, will never come true. Everyone already understands this perfectly. So our proposal, which President Putin announced, is the start of direct negotiations without preconditions. A ceasefire in this situation is considered as preconditions that will be used for further support of the Kyiv regime, strengthening its military capabilities.